Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you a beginner-friendly tutorial on how to start editing YouTube videos. Now first, I would love to get out of the way that not only have I been doing this since I was about 17 years old, so I obviously gained that knowledge just from experience, but I also now have a BA in digital design with an emphasis in animation. So I know a thing or two, and I'm just gonna give you guys some tips and tricks and things that I learned throughout the process on how to edit YouTube videos and what it takes. First and foremost, I suggest finding your style when it comes to the kind of videos and content that you want to make. I personally like to just go on YouTube, find some of my favorite YouTubers, and get a gist of what kind of editing style that I want to have when it comes to my videos. When you have inspiration from vlogging or just lifestyle content versus cinematic stuff, or if you like Emma Chamberlain, maybe back in 2018, 2017 kind of stuff with just crazy bam, bam, wham, wham, that kind of stuff, then you have to kind of study what those people do in their videos and try to mimic that in your own stuff. So first, just try and find what you want your videos to look like, and it'll be a great starting off point, just trying to at least know what you're going for, if that makes sense. It is so hot. Okay, let me see. So note number 2 that I have, this obviously involves, in order to edit, you need some editing software. So very beginner friendly, I always suggest, because that's all that I've used and I still use to this day, is iMovie. Now, if you have an Android or work on a PC, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to tell you, girlfriend. I know nothing. So iMovie is the free option. There's plenty of other sites and things like that that they have on the internet that I'm sure you could find. I just personally don't know how to use them, but I know how to use iMovie. So iMovie is something that I typically use to edit my videos because it's super simple, and you can find all kinds of different tutorials that goes into depth on how to cut up videos and how to add elements and all of these things. So it takes some studying. The other editing software that I have, which isn't necessarily beginner friendly, definitely more intermediate advanced, would probably be After Effects, which is what I personally like to use sometimes too. When it comes to other programs such as Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro, I don't know too much about those ones, but I do know After Effects. That obviously comes with a subscription. So if you have that, that is something that you can utilize as well. But just figuring out what you're gonna edit on to begin with. I typically like to take my videos and cut them up in iMovie because it's just quicker to me. And then I take that video without any elements, without any extra assets or anything like that. If I plan to have pop-ups and stuff like that, I take that final video in iMovie and I move it to After Effects if I wanna do anything extra to it. So that's my process, because splitting up videos in After Effects is just too much for me. I don't like it. So once you find your editing software that you're going to be using to cut up your videos, the next thing I suggest is to learn the hotkeys, people. Learn all of the short commands that you can do to make the process go so much quicker and so much smoother. The thing that makes this stuff so difficult sometimes is just the time that it takes to create a video. So you don't want to sit here and have to click on every single element with your mouse. That's so not only repetitive, it's time consuming, because if you want to make videos on a consistent basis and make it move quick, you got to learn those hotkeys, folks. So obviously, depending on what you're using, Command S or Control S or whatever it is for PC, save it. Just save it. I don't think iMovie automatically saves stuff, but if you're gonna use some Adobe products or something like that, you definitely need to save your stuff all the time, because you don't want anything to crash and then lose all your progress. So definitely learn that hotkey. If there's splitting or anything like that that you want to do with your video to cut it up, obviously take out any extra things that are unnecessary. I think iMovie is Command B, and then After Effects is something like Shift Command D? Something. But you need to learn the hotkeys. iMovie doesn't have too much that I use all the time when it comes to hotkeys, just because I use it to just cut up the video, cut all the unnecessary crap out of it, and then I delete it and go about my day. So there's not too much on that one that I use, but especially After Effects, if you're gonna have stuff flying across the screen and you're gonna, make things transition well and da-da-da-da, you gotta learn the hotkeys for all of those different effects. So T is opacity, S is scale, what is it, anchor point, should be A. Position is P. So stuff like that. You gotta make sure that you know those things, just so you can click, and go. Because nobody wants to sit up here and dig through and click all these different layers and stuff. That's irritating and annoying. So make sure that you learn that stuff. Depending on whatever you're using, if there's hotkeys, look them up. Next, so when it comes to inserting text and pictures, that's another tip. See, it's difficult because with iMovie, it's possible. There's settings where you can do picture in picture, or you can, do a cutaway or something like that. I personally, this is why I take my stuff into After Effects, is because I don't like how iMovie is very limited. And so when you do the picture in picture, I'm not quite sure if you have multiple pictures in there at once, but if you can, that's good. But then sometimes if you want to add certain elements like text, you don't have an option to not have it just fade in. If you just want your text to pop up immediately like that, you can't do that in iMovie. So I like to take it into After Effects, and when I like to do all the woo 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 crazy stuff, that's where I go in and I have it so that stuff pops up instantly. If I want it to scale in instead of just pop up, I have that option in After Effects. iMovie isn't really great for that kind of stuff, but I do have a hack for you just in case. Next tip I have is obviously depending on what you want to do, it's nice to have music. It can be a very dangerous game to try and use all these cool remixes and all this stuff of these different songs, because obviously it's trendy. So unless you want to pay for the rights to that song to use it in your video, I suggest beginners just go and use, and I still do this myself, just go and use platforms that have copyright-free music. Some of the examples that I have, I use Bensound if I just want, regular, depending on what I want, if it's just background music. I use Bensound. There's another website called Pixabay. They have sound effects. They also have music. They have all kinds of stuff. I go there for stock footage. I go there for just stock anything. I use Pixabay. And then lastly, YouTube also has their own audio studio. So if you go into the YouTube studio, they have the music section. You know what I mean? They have their own audio studio. They have all kinds of, I think they carry sound effects too. They have the background music and things like that. You can find a lot of stuff. You can pick the genre, you can pick the mood, the length, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for music and things like that, I suggest just go get some copyright free stuff, call it a day, because nobody wants to have to worry about their, video getting taken down or getting, a strike over their stuff, because that's not gonna help your YouTube career, trust me. Just make sure when it comes to music, that's what you wanna kind of go for. Later, if you, end up getting some money and you wanna pay for, a Michael Jackson song in your video, go for it. This is the second to last tip I have. We have thumbnails. Now, when it comes to making thumbnails, you can, now, obviously because editing photos is such a big thing, you can find any app under the sun if you just want to, take pictures of stuff, use them in your thumbnails, and mush it all together using, I don't know, Visco, or I think I use Square Pics, I think that's what it's called, something like that. You can do all that mess on your phone now, so if you really want to make your life simple, go ahead and do that. Obviously, if you want something super specific, high quality, crazy looking stuff, it helps to do it on a computer and use some sort of editing software. I use, depending if I want to put text in there, and I use just Adobe Suite in general, usually InDesign and Photoshop. If I want to create assets and elements to put in there, I'll go into Illustrator, draw them up, but that's a lot of work. So stuff like in Adobe Suite, something like InDesign or Photoshop is what I typically use to make and create thumbnails. Also Canva, that's a big one. Canva is really popular, so you can use that, put them in a little collage, type a title, and then you're done. You're good to go. So that's pretty much what I have with thumbnails. And then the very last, and honestly probably most important part of this entire thing, is get a hard drive, get a jump drive, get a thumb, anything. Get something to store all your footage on. I have one hard drive right now because I don't really record on a regular basis. I keep all my stuff. It's a terabyte. I think it's like 60 bucks. So I suggest getting a hard drive, keeping all your videos, all your footage on there, because you have no idea what is going to happen. If something goes wrong on your computer, take it from that SD card, upload it to the hard drive immediately so you have all that stuff on hand. Because what's the most frustrating part is that, I don't know, you go and you're recording or something like that and something goes wrong in your editing process, and all of a sudden you have no more footage because you kept it on that SD card and it went berserk. So make sure you store everything on a hard drive. Do something to make sure that you have all of your stuff saved in a safe place. But these are just some basic beginner friendly tips that I wanted to share with you and how I got my start on editing. So yeah, if there are any questions, if anyone has any questions on anything specific, you can go ahead and comment down below anything that you want to ask. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you want to see more of my stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you like this one, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.